What I wanted to also ask you now, this is actually coming back to our second part of the session in terms of safe spaces. So during your growing up years, or for that matter, when you were in the orphanage, or for the brief period that you were with your parents, was there at any point in time that you felt unsafe?
No, at least that never happened to me. Because when you are such type of a child who is very vulnerable, okay,
Right.
and easily exposed, kind of, I can say, to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, but thankfully, I never experienced any such thing in my growing up. Yeah,
Okay.
where kind of I had any kind of sexual abuse or anything as such. But of course, as I said, that because my dad was on heavy alcohol, there was a lot of verbal abuse.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that part of it was there, but the other part of it was not there.
Okay. Okay. So right now, that the current scenario that you are in, do you feel that you are in a safe space now in your life?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Could you tell us something about your current scheme of things in terms of how do you feel safe right now?
Okay, safe in terms of.
In terms of like your husband, your
I can
son.
understand. Yes, yes. Yeah. So, see, what I have done is I have always set my boundaries very clear. Okay, whether it
Right.
is with my friends or with my own family members, I allow them to a limit in my
Mhm.
space
Mhm.
so that no one takes me for granted.
Right.
Okay, in any way, whether it is a sexual thing or a verbal thing, in any way, abuses of any kind, right? It is just not about physical abuse or sexual abuse or verbal abuse, it can be in any nature. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I have done, is set my boundaries, right? Of course, now I am at a stage in life where a lot of maturity is also there, and it also matters how you talk to people, and your own behavior reflects. When you're small, it is about people taking you for granted, thinking that this person is does not have power. Okay, but as you
Right.
grow up, people understand that now this person is having power. Okay, so it's not very easy for someone to come into your space and just invade in your space. So, especially when you have drawn your boundaries very well, it's not very easy for anyone. And I personally believe that if there is any such incident happening,
Mhm.
in the very first time, one should put their foot down, raise their voice, give their opinion. I like it, I don't like it, I want it, I don't want it. That
Right.
is where people will know that this is their boundary, this much they can cross, and beyond this they cannot penetrate in your boundary.
Mhm.
So that is what I have done with my life. And of course, now I'm in a place which is much more secured, in community wise also. So I don't feel
Right.
much fear going out alone or something like that. Even in India, I don't feel that kind of fear, because as I said, I'm always very mindful when I walk on the road. Or but of course, that's like, you have to be, because you can't control someone else's behavior, but you can always be mindful and vigilant from your own side.
So we now come to the third section of the interview. We all actually talk a lot about equality,
Correct.
and I wanted to really understand. What do you understand by equality?
Yeah, see, equality in majority of the times it is just a word, equality. Okay,
Mhm.
I have seen people, dignified people, educated people. Somewhere there is always that little up and down in the gender. Okay,
Right.
male versus female. Okay, you are supposed to do this, but you are not supposed to do this. So
Mhm.
this is where our society lacks. Okay, but again, this is the responsibility of the weaker side, I will say. I will not always say female or male. I do not want to categorize it like that way, because equality can be in any place, or it can be between, like, two friends where one is dominating, one is a milder one. So equality can be in anything. But yes, if
Mhm.
we speak about gender, then the male female gender,
Mhm.
the females are always considered to be less, kind
Right.
of,
Mm. Right.
and that is where the restrictions come for them. So even if you see, in today's time also, the most kind of dignified people also
Mhm.
draw these limitations for their women in the house and all of that. So this is a change that, as a society, it has to happen.
Right.
It's not one individual change, but yes, of course, one individual change will bring change overall. Okay, but again, it is, as I said, it is the responsibility of the weaker one also to understand that their life has to be in their control. So you live mutually, you live, cordially, okay, but you don't
Right.
live on each other's terms. That
Right.
is what I don't encourage in a relationship. I When people come to me and speak to me, I always tell them that you should speak out. Okay, you should speak for yourself, because one day I will speak for you, 2 days I'll speak for you, but for all my life I cannot speak for you. So the most important thing is for you to speak up for yourself.
Correct.
If you don't speak up for yourself, and if you by yourself don't think that I deserve this or I am equal to this, no one else
Mhm.
can help you.
Right.
It is your own self who has to believe first that I am equal to this. And then
Mm.
that equality, you fight for it, or you, I don't know, matlab, you get it in your ways, but
Mhm.
you have to get it.
So, also, I wanted to understand from you, what do you understand by entitlement?
Entitlement is something you bring for your own self.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Do
See,
you consider
entitlement.
yourself? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, sorry. What are you saying?
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. You had to say something.
No, what I'm trying to say is, you mean entitlement means empowerment, right?
No. Typically, I mean, you feel the need that you are entitled to something. It could be probably something that you feel you have got because you have probably born in a family, or you are brought up in a surrounding, so you are entitled to that particular right, or you know this is something that is given. You don't have to work hard for it.
Correct. So I do believe in entitlements, but I also believe that there has to be a reasonable. There has to be reasonability around it. Okay. So just an example that, at my workplace I'm experienced this, so I'm just giving my work experience, this thing, that people, when they don't perform up to the expectations, and then they believe
Right.
that they are still entitled to get something, a high monetary benefit or something like that way, then those kind of entitlements are wrong. Okay.
Mm.
Because you are not kind of being realistic with your own self.
Mhm.
You get what you deserve, you get more when you work hard, you strive for it. But entitlement, I don't believe, see, personally, I don't believe that, okay, I am eligible to get whatever I want.
Right.
Okay. I believe that there are certain things which are easily available, and there are certain things which you have to strive for, which you have to work for. And everything just does not come to you as entitlement.
Mhm.
Okay, tomorrow I can say that I am entitled to become the prime minister of the country, but
Hmm.
I need to be realistic whether I
Right.
do have those capabilities or not,
Hmm.
or is it just a very unreasonable kind of demand of my own ego that I want to become like this, and that is where a lot of things fail. Our country is also failing because we have these kind of people sitting up there who don't know what to do, but they are still there and they are running us. Okay, so in all areas of life, I will say it's not only about that, but in all areas of life, what you deserve, you should get. What you are capable of, also, you should work for it and get. But you should understand your constraints, your weak points, and then ask for those entitlements. This is when you ask about entitlement, I'll also give you one good example of our own
Sure.
Parsi community. Okay,
Yes. Please.
where people believe that just I am entitled to get these benefits from the Parsi Panchayat.
Hmm.
Okay, because I'm a Parsi.
Yeah. So, yeah, you were talking about in terms of the Parsi community as such, and you feel a section of our Parsi community believes that they are entitled to the benefits of the Parsi panchayat.
Correct, correct. But see, if you don't deserve it, you will not get it. Okay, you are not entitled to anything. If you get
Hmm.
something, it is a privilege that you are getting, but you're not
Right.
entitled.
Great. So, coming to the section 4, that is in terms of you understanding the child sexual abuse, in terms of the context of law. So, what do you think is the prevalence of child sexual abuse? How rampant is it in the children?
See, this child sexual abuse definitely is one grave concern across the world. It is just not about India or something, but it is everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
to an extent, parents also have to be blamed on this because we as parents sometimes fail to give that right knowledge to our children at the right age. So,
Right.
what happens is when a child till the age of 5 or 6, okay, children's analytical ability have not built up. Okay,
Right.
there is. I will just little. Maybe it might sound like a little off track, but it will come to it.
No,
So
go
there
on.
is a conscious mind and there is a subconscious mind. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
children till age of 5, 6 are more operating from their subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is very analytical, and our subconscious mind just picks up things. So till the age
Right.
of 5, 6, children only kind of observe, pick up. Okay, they
Mm.
don't sit and analyze. So they don't know what is right, what is wrong. So it is
Right.
parents' responsibility to make these things, understand them. Right. Maybe now it is so, this problem is so bad that I think even when the child is 1 or 2, the parents need to start giving this education in a very subtle way to them. Of course, not in
Mhm.
a way that the child feels scared or something, but in a very subtle way, this education needs to start happening to children right from their toddler time. Okay.
Right.
I think 1.5, two is good. At least when they are doing some little communication,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this education should start happening to them. It is
Right.
parents' responsibility completely. Uh,
Mm.
so at least the child is aware that this is a good touch for me, this is a bad touch for me. It is very
Right.
important for the child to identify between these two touches, at least if nothing much, that this is a good touch and this is a bad touch. And the other thing is that the parents should develop such confidence in them with
Mm-hmm.
whatever nurturing they can do to their children. They should develop such confidence with them that be it anything, the child comes and discusses with them anything. Okay,
Right.
anything and everything that happens to them, the child has that space to come and discuss it with their parents, which
Mm.
is very, very important. Uh, this to begin with, to begin with, because most of the children don't even know that they are being abused. No, that's what I'm saying. That on the first step to this, like curtailing this, or at least getting it into some kind of reasonable control, is to educate our children to differentiate between the good touch and the bad touch. Okay,
Right.
and to build up that confidence with children as to they can come and freely talk to their parents about anything and everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, in
In
your
the
opinion, sorry,
yeah, no,
yeah,
you go ahead.
yeah. So, in your opinion, Nenaz, who typically, sexually abuses children?
See, normally, maximum times, the sexual abuse comes from close family members. Okay,
Okay.
I've had a lot of people coming to me and discussing with me on this, their children
Mm.
suffering or parents themselves suffering because they have gone through something in their childhood which is so deep rooted they've not been able to get out of it, and they've been having some serious health problems because of that, like migraine and all of that. Okay, so
Right.
and these things come directly from the closest family members.
Mm-hmm.
uh, they are the first criminals, I can say, first level criminals when it comes
Okay.
to child abuse. It's
Mm-hmm.
very important for the parents to listen to their children. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
in my own means not in my own experience, but from people that I talk to and all, the very barrier is the parent. Okay, where the parent feels that if I confront my brother or my this one that one, then there's going to be chaos in the family. So with all of that
Right.
inhibitions in mind and all of that, they 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 tell the child, become quiet. Okay, it is one of
Right.
an instance,
Mm.
but that one of an instance keeps happening because that person is again very close in the family. Okay, so the
Correct.
person, and if the first time, if you don't object, you don't raise your voice, the person gets more and more confidence to keep doing it again and again.
Right.
So that is where the child goes through the trauma.
Mm. Okay. So, I wanted to also understand from you, are you aware about the laws for child sexual abuse in say probably in India, or for that matter, now that you are abroad? So,
Honestly, no. Honestly, I'm not aware about all the complete laws, but I was quite. It was quite shocking to see this new verdict which has come out recently, just in this month of Jan itself. That
correct.
only a skin to skin contact is a sexual abuse, and if it is with clothes, it is not a sexual abuse. Means it is an open invitation to quiet of a few of these monsters, I can say, demons, I can say, to come
Yeah.
and do anything uh, from the top. It's like that way you're saying. Okay, that you come, you play around, and you have your good time. So this is a very disappointing and a very shameful kind of a verdict also, I can say, in the Indian, this thing that they are proposing. It's very bad, but otherwise I'm really not aware much about the laws, honestly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And are you aware in terms of how do we actually report this if we come across something of this, like in the society?
I would think about going to a police station and lodging a complaint.
Okay.
But of course,
Great.
I don't exactly know if there is a special there must be a special cell and all, of course, for this also, uh,
Yes.
which I may be able to, if I have to do any such thing, I may be able to explore when I go to a police station.
Great. I'll in fact share with you more information
Sure.
as well
Yes. Yes.
after this session is over.
Definitely.
Great. So now we come to segment 5 of this particular interview. So if I were to ask you which behaviors can be identified as child sexual abuse, if I'll give you some behaviors
Hmm.
and you could probably tell me whether or not you consider them as child sexual abuse.
Right.
So the first one being, would you think touching the breast of a child while she is wearing clothes would be considered as child sexual abuse?
Yes.
Okay. What about showing nude pictures, lewd jokes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
It is a type of a provocation
Mm-hmm.
that one is trying to make
Mm-hmm.
to get that child in their confidence, and that
Okay.
get that child closer to them.
Right. Uh,
I
do you
also,
think
one
that?
thing that sorry, one thing that I also want to say is, this is what I always tell parents not to do, is asking your especially your girl child to dance in front of, oh, my child dances very well, come on, show your dance to everyone, do this to everyone, do that to everyone. Okay, the child
Yeah.
has a skill, use it in the right manner. don't
Yes.
don't make it a public means. Of course, if someone has an art, it is good to show, but how you show it is also. And then, some people laugh and some people make mockery and all of that, so that is what I don't
Correct.
encourage.
Correct. That is great. That's in fact very insightful of you to to share that as well. Uh, now, my next question is actually: do you think children can actually recover from this experience of child sexual abuse?
It takes a very long time and a lot of work with them.
Hmm.
A lot of work with them too. They do, but not everyone. First of all, these things, as I said, if it happens at a very young age, uh,
Right.
some of them don't even remember it has happened to them. It has happened to them. Some of them don't even remember it has happened to them, and this gets stored deeply in their subconscious. But the trauma is there within them. The trauma is there within them. When they grow up, it starts reflecting in them in different ways in their behavior. Okay, and it can also impact their health. As I said, that I've seen migraine cases coming out of these incidents,
Right.
and because of these unresolved issues happened in their childhood times, the trauma that they've gone through, they don't even realize that they are living in this trauma. So it's not always that the child will be able to, or otherwise the damage will happen so much to the child. By the time they realize, it is too late sometimes.
Right. So we come to the sixth segment of this particular interview. What do you think? When Didi came to know about that little child, what exactly would she do?
I would say that in general, when these kind of things happens, you should not overreact in front of the child, because that
Hmm.
scares them.
Right.
But of course, the first thing you should do is give that child a good amount of warmth and love, and then subtly make them understand that this is not the right thing that has happened.
Right.
Okay, and then the girl should speak to the parents should confront the relative. I will also say that keeping the child in safe custody, I mean, not letting the child know what is happening in the background. They should
Right.
even go and lodge a complaint and take necessary legal action against that person, because I see these people, I just call them, they are demons. with no souls. Okay, when they can think of doing such things to small children, they absolutely have no souls. Whether it is just about touching or going ahead and doing violent actions, but that very
Right.
first step leads to the second and the third. Today they have that courage to go and touch. Tomorrow they'll have courage to do more and more and more and more. Okay, so it's going to lead, because then their lust does not stop at one place,
Right.
it keeps increasing. So that has to be cut off from the root level.
Right.
Okay, for them, these kind of people. So definitely but in all of this, the child should be handled very, very, very critically, very carefully, very warmly, lovingly. The child should not feel that, oh, something has become wrong, because if the child gets scared, then in future it can happen that the child may stop having trust and faith in anyone, even for those who want to do good for them. Or even,
Right.
they will always doubt, even if someone comes and gives them a warm or loving hug, they will doubt that, is this person trying to take advantage of me? So it should not happen at that level for the child. But as I said, in the background, all actions should happen by parents, relatives, whatever.
Okay. And do you think the parents would actually confront Chachu about the same?
Yes, of course, that is, they have to do it. They
Which
have
parent
not
do you think? Which parent
the
do you think?
collectively. See, these things have to be done. A parent is a
Hmm.
mother and a father. Okay, collectively, one word is parent. It is
Okay.
not a single parent. So
Right.
collectively, both the parents have to do this.
Right. Okay. And do you think issues like this will be openly discussed in the nuclear family?
uh, I will say that it has to be discussed in the family, yes, but again, keeping the child out of it.
Okay. What do you think is your commitment to creating a safe space? If you could give me a smart action plan.
Mm, okay. Now, so I just want to understand your question one step further. Are you asking me in terms of what I can do in the society, or within my family,
Within the society?
within the society? Yes. So, as I mentioned earlier, also that children causes have been quite close to my heart, and I've always worked with a lot. I've always kept on working with them.
Mhm.
Uh, right now, I'm not able to devote much time on it, but in very near future, yes, my plan is to kind of have my own setup, like a children counseling center, but it would be more about working with street children, or children in the slum areas, where, this awareness is not there, or
Okay.
children are not having that confidence to go and talk to their parents. So I want to
Right.
start up something at on those lines, to have my own setup with my own team.
Right. It was nice speaking to you, Nenas.
Thank you, Zian. It was
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it was a good feeling for me also to talk on these things.
Right. So you take care and we shall catch up soon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.